Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. Before I get into this video, I'd like to ask you all to please leave a like or comment on my video and consider subscribing to my channel. Now today's video is going to be on something that has been teased at a lot by a lot of players, and that is building a retriever combat ship. Now you may be thinking that the retriever isn't really all that powerful, but I'm just about to show you something about it. Let's just open this ship info. Now, when it comes to the retriever, understand that it does have a basic build that favors mining, and it's also a very slow ship. So let's go down to the stats. Remember, we're not going to be getting anything from the mining skills except for the warp stability. So that's the only thing that you have going for you with the ship. Now, if you are running a proper retriever combat ship, you're going to actually be boosting up its resistance to attack. Now it only has it has 3 low slots and 2 medium slots. So here's what you're going to do to set up its low slots and its medium slots. I'm just going to open the market. Now the stronger your gear, the better it's going to be. And I didn't check one last thing on the ship before I went too far. I need to see its power grid size. So it only has a 660 megawatt power grid. So let's double check everything. Double check the fittings. Now I'm double checking the fittings because the drone size makes a big difference. And where are the drone tubes? It can do a maximum of medium. So since it can only use medium drones, the fit up is going to have to be medium drones and basically either improving its shields or improving its speed and its tankability. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is it doesn't have tankability in terms of speed, so it's going to have to be shields. And it's going to run a standard 3-piece format to build up its power. Now, the fact that I'm saying a combat retriever means that it has to be able to still do the retriever's primary goal of actually farming. But remember, even if you're building it for combat, this isn't going to be effective against Big Fleet or many other players. So the first thing you're going to do is put on a shield booster, and that's going to be your C-type shield booster, the cheapest one you can get your hands on. No, I think that you can handle a medium. And that will be, no, this isn't the cheapest. There we go. So this is going to be the shield that you're going to put on the ship. Now I know that it's a medium type shield booster and it's not the very best that you could possibly purchase. It is the very best that you could possibly purchase. But the whole idea with this is for it to just occupy a small part of your capacitor. Let's see if it can run a large. If it can run a large will make a big difference to the ship. And no, it can't. It will fill up the entire capacitor instantly. The next thing you want is a shield extender. The bigger and more tanky the ship is, the longer it will last in combat, so go for the biggest. As you can see, 75 megawatts. Shield hardener, 1 megawatt. And you're going to use this. Now, once you have those 3 on, the ship is now complete. So 1 plus 75 is 76. If you went with the bigger one, you're almost at a 600 megawatt output. Let's look at what this here takes. 103 megawatts. So obviously you couldn't run with the large. You have to run the smaller one. Obviously, if you have higher industrial skills, you'll be able to fight a bit harder. So there's everything that you need in terms of building up the the low slot. Now, when it comes to the mid slot on the ship, you are going to run stasis Weber fires. And with the stasis Weber fires come the advantage of you being able to tank some damage. Sorry, not this. With the stasis Weber fires gives you the chance to actually push out and deal out some damage. Now, your damage will be done primarily by medium drones. So, what drones are you going to use? Obviously, you're going to use the best that you can afford. I'd say MK7 Vespa. Now there's it 8 million a piece. If I'm correct, it's going to be much higher on the market. Now, these drones do quite a bit of damage, and when you stack them up, two of them together, they're going to really push in a nice big chunk of damage each time they hit. Because as you can see from the top, it's 80 per, and they're going to hit together with that 80 damage. It's going to go 80 160. 80 160. You're going to get 160 on your average hit, and this is going to help you with small ships that try to hit you. However, if you really want to pile it in, the next thing that you're going to do in your is get your electronic warfare up with two stasis Weber fires. Obviously, predators are the best. If you can afford it, buy two predators. If you can't, don't worry about it. It's not the most important part of your entire build. Now, all of that just gives you the tankiness in that one aspect of your ship. Now, let's go into the rigs for your ship. And remember that combat rigs are separate from your other rigs. So let's go straight into weapon rigs and let's look at what we could do for you. Now, if you, oh wait, sorry, that's gonna have to be in drones. So if you really wanted to do something with your attack, you could up it by increasing the range of the drones and increasing the firepower of the drones. But that on its own won't guarantee you getting away or making your escape. However, some solid defensive rigs would definitely benefit you way more than the drone rigs. Now, I didn't go through the drone rigs because they're a bit hard for me to get through, but a nice amount of defense adding to the amount of shield you regen is going to let you last a little bit longer when the fight starts. The second thing is you want to have the best shield extender and the lowest price to your cap. Now, this ship doesn't have a massive cap. I didn't even look at it as yet, but I know the cap is really tiny. So let's look at it. And as you can see, it's 2246 gigajoules. If I open it, you're going to see that there's a very slow recharge time. Yeah, 8.58 a second. So even a shield hardener is going to have its effect on the ship. With everything now on your ship, and it's ready to do the combat strategy if you ever have the problem. If you really want to up it so that it's more of a wolf in sheep's clothing, the device setup that you can do is change one of your Weber fires to a warp disruptor and change both your mining rigs to missile launchers or whichever weapon you are using. Remember, if you use lasers, you drain your cap, so it's better to use something which doesn't drain cap. Now, once you put it in, it's going to allow you to fire and actually take everything out. Now, the reason why I said originally it's going to be for its primary purpose is because your rigs on the lowest slot are going to be mining efficiency and mining circulation. I think it's two mining circulation and one efficiency to get the best draw in of resources. So if you are changing your retriever to a combat style, that is going to be your best options on making it efficient. Now, I know that this is just a basic type of combat style with it. If you want it to be an absolute combat ship, which is not recommended because the retriever is 80 million, and even with all those shield upgrades that I'm talking about, you're only about 12,000 in DPS blocking, so you can only take on small frigates if they try to attack you. If anything big shows up, like a battle cruiser or let's say a faction frigate or a faction ship or a destroyer, you're more than likely going to lose. You won't be able to put out enough DPS to get through their shields fast enough, and then you're definitely going to get destroyed. Plus, you're going to run out of cap before that fight is over. Now, if you do decide to run the mining efficiency with the mining rig and you're using it to mine up the belt, there's nothing to talk about in that last slot. But if you are running it with the weapons, there is something to talk about in that last slot. Now, when it comes to your refining ships, the one thing that you can always do if you're doing it just for the combat to escape, it's not really such a big thing, but you can give it a little bit of an auxiliary thruster. Now, considering how slow the ship is at its max speed of only a couple hundred meters per second, I'm not going to say that it's the best when it comes to getting away. And doing that means that you're giving it that little bit of speed to make it a little bit more tanky so that you can fight for a little bit longer. Then you're going to try and improve your capacitor. So a capacitor control circuit and a capacitor battery increase, so multiplier. So increased multiplier and increased recharge. The reason why I don't go with the double capacitor battery is simply because it doesn't have a guaranteed effect throughout the game. And we know that the devs will start swapping out these problems when players start to notice the differences. The capacitor recharge time, which is penaltied when it's doubled, is also something that's supposed to be doubled when the capacitors are doubled. And if you are doing this and you get hit with a penalty eventually, you won't even notice that the penalty is on, and it's going to affect you in your actual play. That's how come I don't mix my rigs with anything that could possibly get penaltied in the future. So this is about it for now. I hope that you do enjoy the video, and thank you all for watching.